Hi guys, welcome to Zenith Workouts. Today we are doing some basic balance. Just maybe 10 or 15 minutes where we just challenge ourselves and see where we're comfortable and where we might need a little bit of improvement. So balance often starts in the feet, although it involves the whole body, including a nice awareness of your center. So we'll start with our feet in parallel, and as we have done in other classes, we'll just do a little bit of footwork. Taking a moment at first to feel that you have even weight right to left leg, and even weight in the balls of your feet and your heels. So sort of 4 even points of pressure there. And I want you to breathe in, and without letting yourself sway back or break at the hips, I just want you to raise all of the toes. See if you can spread them, if you can raise them all, and then pad them back down and try to keep them wide as you do that. So nice breath in to raise the toes, and out breath to pad them back down. Breath in to raise the toes, and out breath to pad them back down. And you can look at your feet. That might make your toes respond a little better to your messages. But if you're comfortable and you know that you're doing it well, then you can hold that head and neck in a nice, beautiful, tall posture like the rest of your spine. Good. And then we'll do last one with all the toes and pad them down. And then we'll try just the big toes. So try to leave all the 4 little toes, number 2 through 5, on the mat and just raise the big toes. And if you can, you're also going to think about pulling the big toes in towards each other and then pad them down. So breath in to lift the big toes and breath out to pad them down. And here, as you're doing this, you're not hyperextended in your knees. So if you do have a tendency to lock your knees fully straight, then just make sure you feel like you have a very slight bend in them. And that will help you to have that even weight in the heels and the balls of the feet, and then also be able to keep that posture as you raise the toes and put them back down. So let's do 2 more with just the big toes. Raising the toes and putting them back down. Also imagining that they pull in towards each other. That might not be possible, especially if you have a bit of, the toe deviating over to the side already started, or a little bit of bunions or arthritis in that knuckle, but always good to visualize. Leave the big toes on the mat now and try to do all the 4 little toes. So big toes stay on the mat, and when you breathe in, you lift 2, 3, 4, 5, and then pad them back down. Lift the little toes and pad them back down. And in this one, the tendency is often, or our little cheat is that we lift the toes, but we do it by also lifting the outside of our foot and bringing the knees closer together or turning in at the ankles. And that's not what you're going to do here. I'd like you to imagine that you've got like a little ice cube under the arch of the foot. You don't want to get that shock of cold. You don't want to melt your ice cube. So as you raise all the 4 toes, you're also really keeping a presence on the outer border of the foot. Right? And then pad the toes back down so that the weight should always stay the same through the knuckles of the toes, the knuckles of the foot, through the outside edge of the foot, and through the heel and the ball. So let's just try 2 more with all the little toes. Good. Last one, little toes only, pad them down. We'll come back to the toes in a second. Right now, we're just going to raise up onto the balls of the feet. So a nice little heel raise. And lower back down. A nice heel raise and lower back down, because ankle strength, calf strength, is also necessary for our balance. And I'd like you to do it slow today at first and really pay attention to where the pressure is in the ball of your foot. So do you really have even pressure in the big toe knuckle and all the other knuckles towards the 5th, the outer, the little baby toe knuckle, as you rise up and as you sink down? And this is our last one, slow. And then I'd like to see, can you speed it up? And still keep that same nice level, even weight across all the knuckles. For 2 more. And whoa, and you should feel that in the calves a little bit. Good. We're going to do the opposite of that now, and we're going to raise the balls of our feet to put all of our weight in our heels. And here, if you're not feeling confident with the balance, then have something next to you, a chair or a wall, just something to give you a little bit of confidence. But I want you to see if you can keep that spine nice and still and lift the whole foot. And we'll do one at a time. So lift the right foot and put it down, and then lift the left foot and put it down. And you're really trying as you lift that foot not to bend at the hip or bend at the knee. It's that ankle, flexibility, mobility, and a little bit of strength in the front of the foot and the shin muscles, right? So just alternate. We'll do 2 more. So you have your right, and you have your left, and your right. And you're really getting the whole ball of the foot off the mat. Good. And now you're going to try both at once. Then you're going to see if you can do a little walk forward and a little walk back. Is that hard? If it's hard, you can practice it. But yet that again is strength in the ankles. That's going to help the balance. So pause and put those balls of the feet down. Come back to the toes. And this is finicky and maybe frustrating, especially if you found the previous toe work a little bit difficult. But give it a try, because what I'd like you to do is, again, keep that beautiful posture and even weight right to left and in the balls of the feet and the heels. Breathe in and raise all the toes. See if you can spread them. And when you put them down, you're going to try to do one toe at a time. So you're going to try to put your pinky toe down, then the 4th toe, then the 3rd toe, then the 2nd toe, and then finally the big toe. Oh. And then raise them up again. And we're going to try twice more. So baby toe, a nice little wave all the way to the big toe. And then last time, lift all the toes, spread them if you can, and then put the 5th, the 4th, the 3rd, the 2nd, and then the great toe. Good, perfect. Awesome. And then just give it a little walk out. We're going to do one more little calf strengthening before we move on to some more balance. And I'd like you to come up onto the balls of the feet. You're welcome to have a wall beside you or the chair. And from here, you're going to slightly bend the left knee and sink the right heel. Come back up to your 2-foot heel raise, and then slightly bend the right knee while you sink the left. So this is sort of like our walking through the feet that we've done before, where you're really trying to keep the center of your pelvis over the center of the feet, the spine nice and still on top of all that. And there's this little bit of movement in the hips, the knees, and the ankles to accommodate what the feet are doing, right? And you're spending more time in your heel raise, which is what is making it, than other versions that we've done, which is what's making it a nice balance challenge. Make this one your last one. Brief balance with both heels up. Try to feel long in your spine, and then sink the heels. Gorgeous. So now you should feel very alive in the feet and very alive in the calf muscles and the shins. And so then we're going to just challenge ourselves with our balance, finding our center, and a little bit of head movement. So I'd like you to pick your own level here. So you could be just with your feet together, certainly if balance is really not your forte. Or if you can, I'd like you to take the right foot and step it forward. That's option 2. That's a little harder. You'll have a little bit of weight in the right and a little bit of weight in the left. If you can, I want you to wiggle the right foot to be right in front of the left foot, right? And that's harder. And there, again, you can have something nearby for a little bit of emotional support and physical support if you need it. But yeah, try to get a little bit of weight in the right front leg, a little bit of weight in the back. And then just pick a focus point. Then look at it and get your organization. Try to be aware of the center of your body over the center of your feet. And then if you feel good with that, then I'd like you to turn the head and the eyes and look to the right. And then come back to the center and look to the left. And so now while you're moving the head, and you can move the head at your own pace, keeping still with a nice tall spine, good even weight in the feet. Moving the head makes you rely less on your vision, and you have to rely a little more on the receptors in your feet and ankles and knees and everything to tell you where you are in space. If side to side is feeling pretty good, then try up and down with the head and neck. Looking up and then gazing down. And is that harder for you? Maybe slow it down if it is. And if you're good with that, then try keeping the head still but closing the eyes. And just see, how does that, do you immediately start wobbling and lose it? Then that tells you rely a lot on your vision for your balance, which is not a bad thing, but it's a good thing to know. You're going to have to be more careful at dusk or night, or when there's bad lighting. If you can do eyes closed for 15, 20 seconds, then you get a gold star. You can go on to the next level. Open your eyes if you had them closed. Release that leg, just walk it out a little bit, and we'll try the other side. So if you just did feet together, then go through it again with feet together. Or take a step forward with the left, having some space between the feet. Or your most difficult option for this anyway is to have the left foot right in front of the right. And again, get your balance. And then when you're ready, if you don't need that still point, that focus point, then turn the head. This one is more difficult for me today. I got that back ankle wobbling a little bit. What's going on? If side to side is good and you want to try up and down, then go ahead. And then if you're feeling up to it, then try the eyes closed. Just taking a moment to get your center. And see, look, there's a little bit of wobble there today. What's going on with my right ankle? So yeah, note some asymmetries and then see if you can work on it and improve that, right? So if you have the eyes closed, then you can open them and shake it out. Good. We're going to go back to having the right foot in front. And again, it could be wide, or if you were doing the right foot right in front of the left, you're going to be here. And you're just going to put your hands on your hips because we're going to bend the knees. So we're going to keep the heels on the floor, and we're just going to bend knees and come back up. And bend knees and come back up. And is that a little harder than what you just did, where you were staying nice and still and straight in your knees? It usually is. This is more dynamic balance. This is balance while you move. The other one was balance while we stayed still. Both are important. And if you find that this is easy, then I want you to try harder. Or try a harder version. I want you to bend the knees and then rotate the head. And then straighten and bend again and move the head. Right? Who thought that would be so hard? But this is what you do when you walk, right? You get one foot in front of the other. You're moving. You're talking to a friend. You're moving your head, maybe, right? You have lots of distractions, so it's a good practice. Let's do one more with this leg in front. Don't feel you have to add the head rotation if just bending the knees and straightening was enough, right? Release it and shake it out. We'll do the other side. So remembering you can have a little bit of a wide stance. You could also have the feet together, of course, and just do the knee bend. That's all. Then go with the wide stance, so the second option, and get the left foot right in front of the right foot for your third option. And then when you're ready, you've got some weight in the front and the back leg. We'll do hands on the hips, and then just bend the knees and straighten back up. Bend the knees and straighten back up. And just see how that feels. If that feels pretty smooth and you think you can handle something a little more difficult, then you can add the head motion. But if this alone is really wobbly and uncertain, then that's a good level to stay and practice at, because you're already at your threshold. You're already going to improve because you've challenged yourself to the point that you have a little bit of wobble, right? If you have no wobble at all or no difficulty with this, then you need to pick a harder level of balance. Hold down if you want to add the head movement. Look to the right. Look to the left. Back to the center, straighten it up. Bend the knees again. Add the head rotation only if you feel comfortable to do that. And that could change day to day, right? And straighten up. Good. rotation. We didn't do eyes closed with this, but that's where you could go after. We won't do that today. Last one, bend the knees, add the head rotation if it's possible for you today. Good. And step it out. Good. And the last thing that we're going to do, balance-wise, because we do a lot of balance in our classes usually anyway, like we do our sweeping clock and we do our lunge and everything else. And these are supposed to be maybe some different balance exercises. So our next one is actually going to be with the feet together, if you can. And we're going to reach. So that's another thing. To practice is, if you have your feet together, how far can you reach out to the side before you would have to take a step or fall that way, right? So, maybe you're great at this. Maybe you can really, really, really reach to the side to the point that you just, you've got a stretch going on in the waist and you can't reach anymore before you'd have to you'd just have to move to be able to reach more. You're at your anatomical limit. And you can try the other way. Like you're reaching, across the length of a table to pick something up. So try again. But this is about getting your center of gravity outside of your feet, the center of your feet, and bringing it back in. Right? So reach and bring it back. And reach, bring it back. So we're doing side to side here. And you might find that it's not that easy, and maybe it's only a little reach before you feel like you want to step. So just give it a go. We'll do one more to the left, one more to the right. And then we'll also try reaching forward. So if you had a table in front of you and you wanted to reach to the other side of the table, how can you do that? Like, are you able to just reach a little bit before you would want, you'd want to come back out of it, or before you'd want to step? Or are you able to really reach, 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 and come back? Because that's the same thing. That's about getting outside of your center of gravity and bringing it back in, right? Outside of the center of gravity and bringing it back in. And we'll try two more like this. You might be limited sometimes, do you have a little bit of back pain with that, or do you have, in which case you can always bend the knees, But it's about how far can you reach? What could you touch? What could you pick up off that table in front of you? Make that one your last one like that. Good. Then we're going to make it a little harder. We're going to do it on 1 foot. All right, so 2 feet, we did it. Now we're going to do 1 foot. So standing on, let's go down our left leg first. Right? And then you're going to reach as best you can out to your left side. And then you're going to come back and you're going to find your center. And you're going to reach to the right. Right? Which is often a little bit shorter. Sometimes it's easier to reach towards the side you're standing on, but just try that. And again, put the other foot down. Of course, this is not like a balance challenge to make you fall, but this is sort of to make you realize, how far can you reach your body out to the side and bring yourself back, right? Before, you've gone too far and you would fall. And I would say that this is often, aside from tripping on things or slipping on ice or something, this is probably when people end up falling, is something happens and they have to get outside of the center of gravity and they don't have enough a quick reaction time, and they're not able to bring themselves back into the center. So, good thing to practice. Fall prevention here. So 1 more reach to the left, 1 more reach to the right, and then try forward. And when you try reaching forward, you can let that back leg move, right? You've seen the golfers who let the back leg lift as a little bit of a counterbalance. So you could try reaching forward with the leg at your side, or maybe you can reach a little farther if you let the leg drift out behind you, not with any sort of specific form, but just seeing if you can really reach forward and come back. Ooh, see, a little wobble. So reach forward. What could you pick up off that table? Come back, and just do 2 more like that on this leg. It's also some really nice strengthening for the hip. I find balance often involves strengthening. We need both, right? And mobility. Good. So let's try the other leg. Getting your weight nice and centered on your right leg. Taking a moment just to get your balance, and then start your reach when you're comfortable. Reaching to the right. Boom. Reaching to the left. And noticing the difference. And does this feel similar to the other side, right? Reach and back. Reach and back. This leg, for me, again, it was that right leg, wasn't it? I'm not as good at reaching away from that right side as I was on the left. That's my little note to myself. You'll notice something different in your body, likely. Good. Let's make that one our last one there, and then we'll try the reach forward, again on one foot, and try the two variations where you keep the foot close to the other leg, and you do your reach forward, and come back, or where you let that leg go back behind you, and come back, right? So, center of gravity way outside your foot, and then come back. Reach forward, pull it back, and just try two more, whatever version you're doing. You could try reaching with one hand, right? It's just things to challenge you, just to say, hey, why can't I do this, and can I work to be able to do it finally and be able to do it better? So, good. All right, so let's bring ourselves back into the center. See if you can put the heels together, the balls of the feet together, the toes together. Stand up nice. And then pick a version that works for you, whether if you might just need to look at something, keep your balance, or try the head rotation with feet together, or up and down, or maybe you know that you can close your eyes with feet together. And just take 2 or 3 nice breaths, whatever version you're doing. And be grateful for the balance you have, but now push to improve it next time. There you go. Thank you for joining. I'll see you next time. Have a great day.